All right, hello everyone. I'm HappyHippos. I'm gonna be coaching a mid to high plat uh, gameplay for showing what the ins and outs of the dive meta are. And before we start with the video, I really want to start and cover just what is dive meta. The basic difference between a dive meta and dive tanks and regular shield tanks or like a roadhog for instance is that dive tanks are very short range. So you have like a Winston, let's say, and his gun can only shoot X amount of feet. It's very short range, and anything after that is going to be safe. Uh, and that's the same thing with Diva as well. The other dive tank, short range, but she has her usefulness. The dive meta comes from the fact of you want to kill their support or dive in and get a pick before really anything negative happens to your team. So an ideal dive meta has Tracer, Genji, Diva, and Winston, and all of these four dive onto one target. Ideally, obviously there's scenarios, maybe Tracer and Genji can't really dive in, but as long as these main two, Diva plus Winston, are together, that's the strength of the comp. So I feel it's important to explain this before, because as we're about to go into it, you're going to see points where these two, if they're together a lot more, would be a lot more successful. Because they both have the same thing. They have a high mobility, Diva's little jetpacks or Winston's jump. They're both close range, kind of low damage, unless, Diva's right on top of them with her shotguns. But it's rare where you have the opportunity to get in there. But as long as these two are together, the whole shield thing works. And the essence is Winston goes in, and Diva follows with her Matrix. So she's going to protect Winston. So here's Winston diving on a Zenyatta. Diva's going to be, behind, assisting the Winston kill the Zenyatta, but also with her Matrix keeping him safe. So the Zenyatta's damage doesn't go through, as well as, a soldier and an Ana, and who else? Let's say the other team has a Tracer. Their damage can't go through onto poor Zenyatta, or Winston attacking the Zenyatta. So the Zenyatta is a good pick because he has no escape. It's kind of harder with Moira, so you have to, for like Moira, you have to time her fade, is the big thing you want to work on. That's going to get her out of the situation, especially with the dive tank. If you're diving on top of her with your ability, you're going to have your cooldowns, and Moira's just fading away. And you have a missed impact. So really the targets you want to go for. Oops. Let me just use this. The targets you want to go for is like a Zen, Ana, Mercy, and Lucio. And like Symmetra kind of counts, but she has to get cloned to really be effective anyway, so it's not really a priority to charge a Symmetra. But out of all these four, the Zen and the Ana are going to be the easiest to kill. Because Zen, no mobility at all, he just has high damage, and if Diva's protecting Winston, it kills Zen. If Diva and Winston dive Ana, her sleep dart really is her only defense, and maybe her grenade just to live a little longer. If Diva can eat her sleep dart or grenade, since these two together, Winston could kill Ana easily because, again, she has no mobility. Mercy, tricky. You're going to need help with DPS because she can just fly away. And Lucio, he can just boop you away. But if these two are together, Zen and Ana become very easy picks to kill. And that's basically the whole point of the dive comp, is to get a pick. And even then, you can do it on DPS like McCree. Same thing, no mobility but high damage. So if Diva shields Winston, they can kill McCree very easily. They just dive on top of him. Diva matrixes McCree while shooting her rockets. Let's see, rocket. Shooting her rockets while Winston's on it, and that's a ton of damage. So unless they're being actively healed, he's going to die before Diva's matrix runs out. So Diva is basically the reason why dive meta is strong. That's why in the pro scene you're going to always see a Diva, because she's just so strong. Especially since Moira's here, Diva eats Moira's orbs, can pressure Moira, from getting on point, since Moira is a close range healer. But this is just the basic premise of dive comp, is you want to dive in and kill somebody before you die. and the person you kill should be important. A high damage DPS, a support, Zenyatta with trance. You force it out, your Zarya can now grab, your Genji can now blade, your Tracer can bomb the Reinhardt because you can save a Reinhardt if you get sticky. If your timing's good as Zen, and you decide you don't have any other ultimates to counter. Things like that. It's freeing up space for your team. So we're gonna go into the match right now, and I'll bring up Microsoft Paint with my expert depictions. But we're gonna go in the match right now, and I'll show you when and where the dive comp is effective. Because I was messaged yesterday, wanting to know how to improve as Winston, as well as how to improve in the dive meta as well. And I figured this video is very easy to make because dive meta is so common right now. It's I can get a lot of information out that I think is going to help people, as well as people who want to counter the dive meta. I play mainly support. I love Moira. I love Zenyatta. With the dive meta, Zenyatta is really hard to play, especially at a lower elo where you don't have people protecting you.
I'm a best tank player.
It's honestly, Moira's made surviving in a dive comp much better, and is kind of countering it and making it more death ball. That's why tanks are a lot more common now. You'll see a lot more triple tank compared to straight plain dive meta, as it was 100%. Before it was 100% in Overwatch League, now it's a solid 80 or 70, just because Moira is so strong on certain points. So the knowledge you're going to learn from this is what dive meta is. We're going to be watching Winston. We're going to learn what dive meta is, how to improve your cohesion in dive meta, especially in solo queue. My last video was the group of, a group member of comp games who wanted communication, who were, friends and got together. In this game, it's solo queue. You have strangers who don't really, understand things the same way you do. You can't know everything about them. So the best thing to do is, watch and learn. This is a more real life scenario for, I guess, it's the average viewer. I solo queue, and I'm sure a lot of people do too.
Yeah, it's definitely not. But
so you should benefit as a DPS, tank, support. Everyone's going to learn a little something about this. Just because how common dive meta is, you find out what makes it work, and by knowing by what makes it work, you can find out how to break it apart. So, right here it's just Winston doing the things. I find that right here you play like a Reinhardt, where you're on point and you like to keep your shield up. The dive meta, you want to go in and focus a target. So right now you're diving Mora, your shield's on cooldown. You got hacked either way, so you'd still die. But you went in without a shield. If you saw Sombra was hacking you, you could put your shield down and block the hack. So it's just another, save your shield for when you jump in. You can watch this in a bunch of videos. You'll see professionals do it all the time. They don't use their shield unless they have no intention of going in the next couple seconds, or until it's back up. So save your Winston shield for when you jump in, I guess, is number one. So boom, drop your shield. You're safe from the Roadhog now. But see just how Winston jumped in on you and dropped his shield. You're playing like a Reinhardt. You stepped back and then raised your shield. So now when you want to go in, you have no way to protect yourself, because D.Va can only eat so much damage from you.
Sombra hack. I'm on Sombra.
The communication's okay. You're calling who you're on.
I'm on Mora.
It is what it is.
Fuck. I'm coming back here.
But so far it's not that bad, when you recalled right there, or you backed up trying to be safer, it's better just to go all the way back. For that exact reason that you just got picked off from it. So you just had the 6 seconds of your spawn timer plus the walking back. You're on the first point of Route 66, so the payload's right in front of you. But on most other, payload maps or King of the Hill maps,
I'll wait till you're
the whole run back and everything is 30 seconds, It wastes a lot more time than people realize.
Sombra.
But yeah, the video's blurry right now because I was trying to fix the frame rate issues. So I think I lowered it a bit too much. This one, you're just aggressive on your Winston thing, but it's fine. They have a Roadhog. So he's going to do a lot of damage to you as well as their Pharah, especially since you're such a big target as a Primal Monkey. But communication's okay. Right now, I think you should just run back to spawn because your team was picked off a lot. So, you know, right now let's just basically keep a count on how many seconds you're wasting right now. Because your team's still staggered in the fight. It's, you know,
I'm hacked.
the only saving point is that the fact your spawn is so much closer than
Get on
theirs.
Zen.
And even then,
I'm low.
it wasn't that
Go on,
much. See,
Zen.
look, dropped your shield, but then you went in, so you have no way to protect yourself for another 5 seconds. It's
I'm on Mora.
you're not gonna always have a Lucio ult or a Mercy healing you at all times, so just keep an eye on that. You can mitigate so much damage.
I'm hooked.
See, like that's not that bad. Roadhog
Mora.
hooked you. You
Mora low.
should have taken a good
Got
half
him,
health
got
of
him.
your shot, because if he had a shot in his shotgun, he would have half health you.
I'm a hug.
But
Hug, no heal.
no, you put your shield down, back away. You disengaged and lived.
Yo, hug.
Turn one. Dead.
But it's not bad. I say my biggest concern is trying to coordinate with the diva more, and call targets before you go on them, or if they're killable, because you're gonna notice you're calling out whoever you decide to be shooting right now. So you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm killing Roadhog," and then you'll see a soldier to your left, and you'll kill him.
Booster now.
But like you haven't done enough damage, or really any assistance would really concrete kill him. It's just you're just there.
I'm
Back.
Again, went in with no shield, easy to get killed. Especially with the Zen Roadhog, the Discord headshot from a Roadhog is going to do like 400 damage, or 350. So basically just shield management, I guess, for your Winston is the biggest thing. You're going to see that a lot, so I'm not going to keep bringing it up. Your positioning, it could use a lot of work, because Winston is a tank, but he's not like a tank like Reinhardt, where you can, you know, oh, I'm in danger, right click and you have a 2,000 health shield in front of you. Your strength is that you're so mobile, which is why the dive meta is so popular. So Diva should be with you a lot more,
Thanks on the point. I'm on hug.
but I think just communication with Diva would improve it for you. This death, you had your shield still, if you notice, as well as your ult, but you got that last minute. If a Roadhog's hogging you, you can drop your shield and you'll buy like 3 seconds for yourself. But just notice, whoever you're diving on, like you're diving Zen, your Diva came in, so you killed him in half a second. You know, you didn't really take that much damage because Zen didn't live that long. Diva Winston is deceptively high damage, and you know they're both tanks, so it's not like you're gonna die in half a second, except maybe in high elo if they focus you and you happen to take like a Zen barrage real fast. It's you have time to react. And that's basically the ins and outs of dive meta. You want as many people as possible to just chip away, and everyone does a little bit of that person's health. So out of 200 health, if Winston, Diva, Tracer, and Genji all dive in at the same time, they all really need to do only 50 damage to kill a 200 health person with no healing. So,
Soldier, I'm going diving.
you know, that's what we're calling the soldier right now, by the way.
Down.
But
I'm on
since
point, I'm on
Diva
point.
does kind of low damage from any kind of range shorter than in their face,
I'm low.
Winston, low damage, but his bullets are unblockable, or his
Good ult.
electricity is unblockable. You can do a lot more, but that's the logic that you want to have in a dive meta, is
Right.
that you and Diva are best buddies. Diva keeps you safe since your shield blocks X amount, but it has a pretty long cooldown considering. So during your window of vulnerability, Diva's there to mitigate a lot of damage for you. That's why it's better than like an Orisa Winston, because it's a lot more toxic, or not toxic, but you can't move Orisa's shield after you launch it. You know, you can't
I'm on Sombra.
shoot it forward and protect the Winston who's about to get killed by a Roadhog, but Diva can with her Matrix. Diva can eat a Zen Barrage.
Zen half.
Right there, I don't know why you didn't just kill the Zen. You're 98% on your ult,
Pushing the
and
payload.
you could have literally just, he was 5 health,
I'm on
jump
hug.
up on him and punch him, and you would have gotten your ult charge from that and been able
Hug,
to
no
ult
heal.
if you were gonna die. That could have, it helps. Every little bit helps. People underestimate that a lot. Sombra on their team has bought a lot of time for her team. You guys are taking, because your Pharah is doing a ton of work. She's had a couple good barrages in the last half, as well as the other team staggering themselves really hard.
I'm asleep.
But their Sombra is stalling the point a lot longer than you'd think, because every time she has stealth, she's spending her entire duration of stealth on your
I'm on
payload.
hug, I'm on hug.
And, you know, 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there, and then you have a whole minute that she's eaten.
He's one.
Winston. Sombra.
It's right now you're just in that kind of like, you know, stall point where everyone's just trying to buy time for the team.
Good stuff.
But it's a
Okay, we just got it.
the Winston.
Hold it.
Your positioning might need some work. As just think about your personal survival, because everyone's ready. You know, oh, I'm gonna do
I think we,
like you know
we figured
Miro.
out
I'm gonna
the,
do
the flow
like
there.
Emong and just dive in there and kill 4 people. But Emong does that only when he knows certain abilities are down, or certain people can't move, or they're cornered, or something, or his team can support him. Because Overwatch is a team game at the end of the day, and you know the Winston you're playing is the same exact Winston that Miro's playing, but the only difference is how you play them.
Who do we jump first?
Since I know you like Winston, look up Miro. He's one of the best ones. When I was learning, you know, how to counter Winston, I watched his videos, because as a Zenyatta especially, Winston will kill you almost 100% of the time when he dives on you, just on a straight one-on-one. Just because you can't do enough damage to fully kill a Winston unless you get a bunch of headshots. You know, Discord headshots, and you might have charged a little bit, so you had like 3 shots in a barrage. It's hard as a Zen to kill a Winston. But the way to beat a Winston 1v1 is to always put yourself really close to someone who does well against Winston. So if you know they have a dive meta, like instead of playing here, I would play a little further back. So if Winston wants to get you, you have to stay further back, and he has to go deeper. So if he wants to go deeper, since he is so close range, because that's the drawback of a dive tank, is they're so very close range, he has to endanger himself more than he wants to be. So he's just not going to go for you. He's going to go for like the Mercy instead, or you know, your Tracer or Genji, whoever else is on that rooftop that's easy to kill. Just because you're so far away. And that's Zenyatta's advantage against a Winston or a Diva. Same thing with like Tracer Genji, but you want to do the opposite. You want to kind of get closer to whoever your support is. You'll see consistently in Overwatch League and basically any professional or high level gameplay that the supports will stick together 100% of the time, or close to it, because 2 supports, you can keep each other alive through almost anything. Like as Zenyatta Mercy, you wouldn't think Zenyatta can out-heal Winston, but if Winston is shooting the Mercy, you can Discord Winston, put your healing orb on Mercy and buy about 3-4 seconds, and shoot the Winston for her. And she can either damage boost you or pull out her own pistol and start shooting since she's alone. Or fly away. But
Where are they?
you have to learn their weaknesses. Winston his death is his fact that he's so close range. He's pretty strong in the meta just because D.Va is enabling him so well. She's like a supportive tank. And also because D.Va's Matrix eats everything. It's not like a preferential. Basically any just non-projectile is the only problem she has.
Oh, Mercy?
Like right now, you're fighting off the point the entire time. That's just why you lost this point faster than you would realize, because you kind of just like had one fight that took forever, but the payload got really far. Because no one's stopping the cart, which is also a problem. The cart basically went uncontested the entire push, but you guys were fighting the entire time.
Okay.
That's something you can just address by, look, if you want to push the cart, you're gonna have to kill me. You know, make that logic. You can, you know, obviously retreat as you need to be. Like, oh, Mercy's further in the back, and I can't stay alive forever on the cart. But you definitely, you know, jump out, get healed by Mercy, and then come back to the cart. If you keep fighting next to the cart but never stopping it, they're still getting their job done of pushing the payload, because that's what wins the game, is the objective. Like in Battlefield, I don't know if you ever heard, you know, PTFO, play the freaking objective. It's gonna happen in Overwatch as well, you know. There's so many, you know, Cloud9 moments, C9s. No one touches the point, you know. Everyone's so focused on getting the kill, and in the high level, you know, they're gonna kill the entire team, but no one stopped the point. So the one person on the point pushed it and got the point, and you won, you know. There's so many times you're gonna see it. It's incredibly common because people get tunnel visioned with the whole, you know, oh, there's a person's here, and then in the higher levels you're thinking about more than just what you're gonna shoot them with. You're thinking about positioning, what the other team has, you know, who's alive, what cooldowns are available for every character, and who can affect what I'm doing right now.
Mercy. I can't. I have no jump. I'm on Mercy.
It's easy to lose track of the objective, but you know, it's good to fight on it. That's just a general rule of thumb. You need to. And like as attack, obviously you're gonna fight on the objective, but on defense, you see that you're a lot more spacious than you need to be. You have a Lucio, and that's one of the good things about a Lucio, especially on point defense. You can just kind of skate around the point, and unless people have really good aim, it's a real hassle to finally finish them off.
More on point. More half.
That's a good call, but you basically want to make a call out for your team to focus somebody, in my opinion, when they're, you know, halfway or they really have nowhere to go or they're especially vulnerable. Because I feel like it's just filling up the chat, you know, the communication it's just taken up. When I did first responder training in high school, you know, just medical training, basic, you know, assist people in emergencies.
Larry is huge.
When you're working on or with a customer or you know at a scene, you don't want to communicate more than what's necessary in the walkie-talkie, because you know you're gonna tie up the lines. You can't hear what anybody's saying on a walkie-talkie if you're talking. So you want to keep your messages short, brief, and detailed. I feel that'll help in solo queue, or it does help in solo queue, more than people realize. So you're on McCree. McCree's overextended. He has no healing, so it's okay. But
I'm on Mercy.
so you're saying you're on Mercy, so if I was a DPS listening to you, I'd look at Mercy, and I see a full health Valk to Mercy flying 50 feet away from me in the air, and it's just making misleading calls.
I'm on Winston.
You know, it's good to let people know who you're targeting.
They
They have eyes, so you know, don't forget they can see you. But definitely treat it as like when you make a call, you want someone else to help you finish the kill, and you know, it's a give and take. You just really have to get a sense for it of when it's appropriate to make a call. Just because it's, you know, it can mislead your team and cause people to focus someone else.
I'm on Reaper.
So if you're making misleading calls and you call out, "Oh, I'm on Mercy," or like, "Okay, our Winston's on Mercy, let's help him out a little bit," they'll focus on that guy. But if they were gonna finish somebody off, they're like, "Oh, Mercy's about to die. That's a more important pick." So they won't finish off the Soldier 76 that they're shooting on the roof. So Soldier 76 is a chance to heal himself and come back into the fight when he could have died because of a bad call.
Alright, I'm on her.
And then if he, of course, gets like a visor or anything important like that, then you just kind of, you know, you inadvertently saved someone's life on the other team.
Mercy's down.
Winston one.
Again, you're in the open a lot. I definitely work on that.
I'm on Mora. Mora no dash.
As Winston, especially, because not like a diva who's mostly armor. Winston's very little armor and a lot of health. You know, per the 500. You really want to take advantage of terrain and, you know, side angles and shit like that.
I got fire.
High ground's really useful on Winston because it makes you harder to see when you do want to engage.
More Mercy.
So like the Mercy call there. Like, yeah, you called out you were on Mercy, but you didn't really get enough damage on her where it was killable-ish or punishable. She was super deep within her team, so really there's no way for someone to support you. And if someone does listen to you to dive, it's a hard time for them to secure it. And you're basically just giving the other team an edge by confusing your team or getting them distracted. But overall, it's, you know, your aim is okay. I mean, Winston doesn't really have much aim requirement. I'd still definitely practice aiming. You'll notice in the Overwatch League, even as a Winston, they have almost perfect tracking. So I guess like just in case like McCree rolls or Tracer, you know, jumps away, you still have it. But definitely work on more of your aim as Winston, because he does still have a wide, you know, area of effect to hit. But aim is always something that can be improved, and it's always something that makes a huge difference. You know, it's the difference between getting a headshot if you're not playing Winston on another guy, getting that extra 10-15 damage on a Lucio as he's running away around a corner. So damage always makes a difference, even on characters where you don't really need it. So just to illustrate again, you know, I would definitely work on your positioning, as in your own personal survival, and the timing of your cooldowns. Winston is super vulnerable to that, as well as many other characters. You know, Pharah, make sure before you dive in on the other team, you have a jump jet or your concussion blast, so you can either boop a DPS who's shooting at you like a McCree away from you, or boost yourself away out of a corner to get away from Soldier's sightline if he's ulting. Get away from basically any source that can kill you. But basically, the strength of dive, D.Va Winston, that's supposed to be D.Va. D.Va plus Winston is the big thing of dive meta, and the rest is just kind of support. Like Zen, he's useful because he can heal the Winston. Heal Winston. Plus Discord, the dive target. And Discord is a 30% damage buff that everyone on your team does to that person. So, just imagine, you have 500 health. 30% of 500 is what? 500 times 0.3. That's 150 damage more that they would do. So you actually have to just do 350 damage to a tank that has 500 to kill them with a disc. I don't know. I did probably math wrong. It sounds too funny. 10% is 50. So yeah, 150. That's the strength of it. So, D.Va Winston. Let me just make a new page. The ideal dive comp, D.Va Winston, Zen for his discords as well as trances. So he gets dived by D.Va Winston on a big important push where they just need to buy time or anything like that. Zen has his trance, he has discord, and he has healing orb. The healing orb goes on Winston because D.Va has her matrix and she's mostly armor. Winston is mostly health and he's very fragile compared to a D.Va, as well as D.Va can block damage situationally as Winston can just drop a shield. So she's situational. Situational, and Winston is just one and done. Drop your barrier wherever you are to keep yourself safe for the time being, and then once it's dead, you're kind of vulnerable for about the 10 seconds it takes, or however long your shield lasts, to drop another one. So you want to go Zen. Mercy is kind of, in Overwatch League they do Lucio because Mercy would be focused too hard, and Zen, his drawback is, okay, they're focusing our Zen, we'll kill their Zen, and it's kind of like an even trade. So Overwatch League is like an extreme, and like you shouldn't base your gameplay off of them, but it's good to see what decisions they make as a character in their scenario and why they do it, and that's how you improve. So you're never going to have a full 6-stack of heavily coordinated people like an Overwatch League because they literally play the game about 10, 11 hours a day, and 6 of those hours are professional scrims against other professional teams improving and practicing strategies, and the other rest are in the high elo competitive matches. They might be streaming, they might be playing alone and not streaming or just recording. But in the high elo, the Mercy lately, after her Mercy used to be mandatory, but since her nerf, which brought her more in line with every other support, Mercy's still good, by the way. Everyone's acting like Mercy's dead. Mercy is still a solid support. The Resurrect is still super strong ability. It's punishable now. That was her nerf. Because they nerfed her, but then they gave her Valk, and she got 2 reses for free instantly, which kind of didn't have an impact on the nerf because you just kind of wait for it. Just wait till you have Valk, and then you go in, res 2 people, and you win the fight. So now that Mercy's in line, her Resurrect is still good for if you get picked off. You don't have to wait, and that's one of the perks of a Mercy. But now Lucio is in the meta because he's fast and he has speed and AoE heals. And the whole thing is, D.Va Winston go in. Let's say it's a King of the Hill map, and you guys have the same team comp. One has a Mercy, one has Lucio. The Mercy comp, the Mercy's gonna be with the Zen because they're buddies. Zen, if gets dived by Winston, Mercy heals Zen. Zen puts his healing orb on Mercy, and they keep each other alive while they deal with the tanks. And then D.Va Winston try to kill the other people's supports. And this is like, the other team, which is probably going to have a D.Va because she's overpowered. Definitely a Zen at high elo. But stuff like that. So, your tanks are going to kill their Zen. Their tanks are going to kill your Zen. One team has Mercy, they stick together. One team has Lucio, and the Lucio speed boosts Winston and D.Va and everybody into the other team. Or, together. So, they'll get to your Zen before we get to, these people will get there after the other team because they have Lucio speeding them. So, they can have the advantage of either high ground, the favorable, let's say, there's the map, 1 point here, 2 point here, the middle is where you want to be. Lucio's going to get here, and they're going to hold, and they have this to defend against, where the spawn might have here to defend against. You know, everyone's hiding behind this wall, and everyone's hiding behind this wall. But the point is right here. You know, it's right in the middle. So they can take the point, and now they have defender's advantage. Things like that are just minor things that they can do that, not minor, but that really affect the gameplay. So you have your Devo, Winston, Zen. So they're going to be Mercy or Lucio, or Moira, depending on what map in the Pro League. I like Moira in general because she's a lot of survivability, and she can do well solo against a DPS. You're not in Overwatch League. You aren't gonna have a whole team that wants you to be A-okay. You know, they're gonna leave you behind and let you die in the corner. Alright, there you go, your X. And that's a scar. You know, you're dead in the corner. Please, I need healing. And your other team is gonna be like, oh my god, why are you dying? No, you don't get healing. So Moira has she has her fade. She has really good self-sustain. She has her right mouse button. Keeps her alive, basically, you know. A Genji's flanking on you. Genji can't deflect your damage back at you. You heal for I think it's like 20 or 30 health per second, something kind of minor. But you still heal yourself while doing damage to the Genji, so it pressures him out. And especially in competitive, you're alone almost all the time. Or, you know, you're going to be in a lot more 1v1s than, let's say, an Overwatch League game. So this is definitely what you want to have. You want to Moira. I like Zen and Moira because Zen is damaging. You can get a lot of picks as Zen. People really underestimate his damage, especially when he does his little charge up and shoots a volley. I've gotten so many kills and won so many fights and stopped so many fights. Just, everyone's poking back and forth. Let's make a new little drawing. Everyone's poking back and forth. It's Volskaya, let's say. You have your door, and then you have a car, you know, the truck, and then you have your building here, and little door here to the health kit, and there's the point back here, you know. As a Zenyatta, everyone does this route where they have the building and they come this way, and you kind of just, you know, everyone just kind of shoots back and forth here. I like the Zenyatta where you come this route. Let me just change the color, let's say, to green for good. I like going this route if you have any kind of protection. And so your tanks are going to want to, you know, engage. Winston, Diva, everyone's going to hold in this point. So as Zen, you just charge up, and like 90% of the time, they're going to be right here. Almost 100% of the time. And maybe like one guy here. But 90%, they're in this point. You just want to charge up and just gun it straight somewhere in the point, and you'll get a lot of kills. If they have a Reinhardt shield, let's say, and they have a shield right there, just when you walk around the corner, just a little quick sneaky sneak, and you'll definitely get a kill. But that's just one example. But definitely, as a coaching, I need you to work on positioning. I need you to work on aim. I need you to work on calls or shot calling. That's an L in cursive. Shot calling, just be more precise and less often, because you overcall. And less. I'm not going to write it out. You like to overcall. You say, you call out basically whoever you're damaging, and that's a nice thing, but it's going to distract your team. You're going to say, I'm on Mercy. They look at Mercy. She's full health in the air, and you're not touching her. They're going to get either annoyed with you, like your shots are wrong, or basically, you know, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just going to ignore his calls, because every time he calls, I'm on Mercy, Mercy's in the air alive. So that's work on that. Aim comes naturally, time plus practice. Positioning, survival. A lot of people work on positioning like, what's the best vantage point? But your positioning is directly related to survival. Bad positioning, low survival. Good positioning equals high survival. Um, and that's something that a lot of people don't know, or don't realize. The positioning is not how much damage you can do from there; it's how can you live. Is the best way to put it. Look at Seagull and everything. They get in their spots because they can shoot a lot of stuff. They have really good point of view, and in Overwatch League, it's like a rare thing, or not rare, but they implement it a lot better because they're so coordinated. But especially in solo queue and in competitive, when you're playing on your own or with a friend, with strangers, positioning is for survival, not for how much damage can I do from this spot. Because eventually, someone's gonna know that spot, and if you can shoot them, they can shoot you. So your ability to escape, survival. Um, as well as that, I like more variety. I'm a support main, but really because no one's upset that they have a support, as long as it's not like you're like a one trick, only Mercy, only Symmetra. Um, Learning a variety of characters obviously is the best thing. Just pick a couple you like. I like to have like 2-2-2, 2 DPS, one tank, or 2 DPS, and then 2 supports if at the minimum. I can do a lot of supports because I just like the support gameplay. You'll notice a lot of DPS, the professionals, have a lot of DPS they like to play, but a certain type. A lot of them only do hit scan, a lot of them do a lot of projectile only. You know, it's rare to see a McCree player love Junkrat and play them almost as much as Junkrat. They have their times, but McCree players like McCree, Soldier, Widowmaker, the hit scan, I point my mouse head over the person, I click, and it's gonna kill them. Then you have like Seagull, who likes projectile. Genji, his shurikens are projectiles. Hanzo, Pharah, Junkrat. Um, so it's really just your playstyle. I like supports that can do damage and defend themselves. That's why I'm not a fan of Mercy for me. I can play her, well. I know positioning equals survival, especially as Mercy, who can't really do damage to scare people away. Um, it's really your playstyle and find characters that are similar. Winston is divey. He's kind of not aim intensive. So for DPS, do like a Junkrat. Junkrat, not really super aim intensive. It's good to know where your shots are gonna land, so you know how to lead them. But a Junkrat might work for you. Pharah, May, if you just like getting close. Reaper, again, like using shotguns, your close range. It's kind of hard to not hit, unless you're really in their face. So, it's find the characters that work with your playstyle because it's a game first and foremost, and you gotta enjoy yourself. That's really about it. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, please leave a comment, leave information. Just your video sucked. All right, thanks. They'll say your video sucked because the image sucks. Thanks. That's something I can work on. Oh, hey, I hate your voice is a little worse than saying I hate your voice. It's so nasally, or it's so quiet, or it's too loud. So any be as mean as you want to be, but if you can keep it constructive, that'd be cool. But definitely, Dive is super strong because Diva. Diva's the whole reason Dive is strong. When Dive broke in like season 3 or season 4, it turned into a quad tank with the release of Ana. And then they buffed Diva's Matrix, or not Matrix, health. They gave her more armor, so she was stronger. Because before she'd just be like a Matrix shield. Then they nerfed her Matrix, and to make up for it, they gave her more armor so she can go in. But then her DPS is still pretty low, and that's why they gave her missiles. So now she's really strong as a diver, because she still has the increased armor and the missiles. So if you shoot your missiles plus left mouse button, regular shooting, plus your shift, and hitting them with your shift, it's a lot of damage just alone, not including, plus Winston is dead. It's going to kill whatever soft target, anything less than 250. Reaper may all have their little survivals because they're kind of like bruisers where they kind of brawl, so that's where they have more health. But basically any support besides like Mora, who can fade away, or like a Zen ulting, a Lucio ulting, you're going to kill him. Basically with the whole combo. If Winston lands his jump, because his jump does 50 damage that people don't realize, and something you can do is jump, and then right before you land, melee, and then the landing breaks your melee animation. So you do 50 plus like a melee is like I think 20 or something, you know, something small. So instead of 50 damage or, you know, jumping next to them, so let's say like you're Winston and you land here and Zenyatta's over here and start shooting, you just missed almost 70 damage plus you're not close. But if you land here, you do plus 70 because 50 from jump plus 50, and then fist, this is going to be a fist, equals like, you know, 20 or 10. I forget what the fist values are. I don't really keep track. It's low. But you're missing out on 70 damage plus you're right in his face. So when he aims, he doesn't have, let's say like this is your first person point of view and here's your target. Instead of having, you know, a small Winston here and you have his head, let's put you in red for it. You have like a small Winston here and like here's his body. And then, you know, blue for zappies. If you're up close, your head isn't as easy to hit. Your head's gonna be like over here, and if you move it, you're let's say you move 1 foot to the left, your new head's target's gonna be right here, but it's super close. You know, you're right next to it. Yeah, it's basically almost touching if you move like a step to your right. But here, if you make a step to your right, your head goes from there to there. So if I'm Zenyatta, I want to go, okay, Winston just jumped on me. I'm going to aim up here, and you take your step to the left. Now your head's over here, and I didn't get a headshot on you, and I just saved you double damage. That's just, you know, more advanced things. Zenyatta's a mid-range to long-range because he doesn't have damage fall off. A mid-range Winston and D.Va are prey to a Zenyatta, especially if they have no shields, because Winston's shield is up or it's not, and once you know it's up, it's going to be gone for almost the rest of the fight. Winston's the target once his shield is down. That's why D.Va enables him. That's the whole point of D.Va with Winston. As a Zen, or, you know, as a Moira, Zen, Soldier, Reaper, that's his weak spot. His shield's down, he's dead. D.Va's there to mitigate it, but she can't shield for as long as his shield's down. So it's good to work on positioning more than just, you know, I'm going to do some damage. If you put real thought into it and analyze it and put conscious effort into why you want to do everything, you know, even minor things. Oh, I want to walk this way. Why? It can really help out. Just minor things, you know. As a Winston, you're closer. Your head's harder to hit compared to if you're medium range. Your head is one, not moving as much per how much I have to move my mouse. You know, instead of moving my mouse this far, I have to move it this far. You know, it's real close. Which one is harder to shoot? A head moving back and forth between these two or these two? But yeah, that's basically the summary of what dive comp is, its strengths, its weaknesses, and how to take advantage of it, basically on dealing with the tanks. The DPS or flankers, they're low health, they're easy to kill if you land your shots, so that's more of an aim thing. Positioning helps you keep alive, you know, be with your team, don't be alone, make shot calls. If you know Genji's been killing you a lot, make sure your team knows that Genji is close by and is ready to kill you. But yeah, if you liked the video, you know, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you really want to. But, you know, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.